Oh boy, here we go again, my dear friends. Just when we thought we had put this to bed, there is another update in the Kathleen Kennedy saga. And this time it's not from the rumor mill, it's from Kathy herself. She's directly responded to the claims that she's stepping down. But there's a big problem with this. The news outlet that broke this was Deadline.com, and the title of their article, which is making the rounds, is being entirely misconstrued. There is a contingent of Star Wars fans taking this as a victory. Just reading the first sentence, that Kathy is not retiring, and poo-pooing the previous reports. I read through the whole thing, and it's not as it appears. The original story from Puck still holds merit. Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as Lucasfilm president, but they were mistaken in thinking she's going to retire. She isn't. But I reckon Kathy's new interview is just a PR move, a positive spin on what we already knew. And this article is full of pro-Kathy bias, blaming fans for daring to dislike anything she's done. So let's go through what she said. Kathleen Kennedy speaks on her Lucasfilm plans. She is not soon retiring, and the films that will keep her in Star Wars orbit for years to come. In a technical sense, this title is true. She's not retiring in the traditional sense, but Deadline knew what they were doing. They wanted to instill in fans this notion that the original story was entirely BS, but cut to what Kathy says, and it was actually true. While she's still going to produce on upcoming movies, she literally admits that she's going to be stepping down from Lucasfilm president in just a few months' time. Like I said yesterday, that doesn't mean there's going to be any radical change. That doesn't mean Star Wars is quote-unquote saved, but the original story did have some truth. Kathy's in the process of looking for a successor, and in the meantime, she's still going to produce the next slate of Star Wars movies. As she says, she's going to remain in orbit for many years to come. So after the writer of this piece tries to convince everyone that Kathleen Kennedy is the best thing that ever happened to Star Wars, they directly ask her this. We've read all these speculative reports that you are out. There's a frenzy for the next person who's going to take over Lucasfilm. What is the truth? Tell us, O wise, majestic one. What is the truth? Enlighten us. Oh dear Kathy, enlighten us. Okay, I got a bit dramatic. Anyway, so Kathy replies, the truth is, and I just want to say loud and clear, I'm not retiring. I will never retire from movies. Never. I'm never going anywhere. I will die making movies. I'm not retiring. What happens at Lucasfilm is I've been talking for quite some time with Bob and Alan about what eventual succession might look like. We have an amazing bench of people here, and this is the important bit, my dear friends. We have every intention of making an announcement months or a year down the road. I truly believe this is a PR spin. She's not retiring, but the conversation of her successor has already been had. She's going to step down as the president, and like she says, there's going to be an official announcement in the coming months or year, and I still think Star Wars Celebration is the best place to do it. And then she talks about the upcoming movies. I'm producing the Mandalorian movie right now, and I'm also producing Shawn Levy's movie after that. So I'm continuing to stay at Lucasfilm and looking very thoughtfully with Bob, she's talking about Bob Iger, and Alan Bergman as to who's stepping in. So that is all underway. And we have every right to make that announcement when we want to make it. So basically, when she's ready. But this confirms that Shawn Levy's movie is the next one after The Mandalorian and Grogu. And we also have confirmation the Shawn Levy movie starring Ryan Gosling is set 5 to 6 years after episode 9. So it's going to be set a few years after The Rise of Skywalker. And the Simon Kinberg trilogy after that, she says, is further down the timeline. But you want to know something I noticed? There isn't a single mention of the Rey movie by Shawn Beit-Shenoy, the one announced at the last celebration a couple of years ago. Kathy also confirms the one by Shawn Levy, the next one to go into production, is a standalone. It's separate to the Kinberg trilogy. Another major reveal from Kennedy is the expansion of the Mandoverse. Now I don't know if she's talking about just Ahsoka Season 2 and the Dave Filoni movie, or if there's more coming after it. Maybe another skeleton crew, maybe another season of Mando, Rangers of the New Republic being brought back. We really have no clue, but Kathy assures fans the Mandoverse is still a major priority. She says, we built an audience for it, and we gave the audience an opportunity to enter Star Wars in a different place. That's why it feels so good to be able to go into the Mandalorian movie. In 2020, before The Mandalorian Season 2, yes, The Mandalorian was everything to Star Wars fans. But I've got to say the third season, Oh, I don't know. It killed off so much of that momentum. I'm not saying the box office is going to inherently be a flop. I'm not saying there are no Mando fans left, but the way she's talking about it, you would think the fandom unanimously loved Mando Season 3. Even though I enjoyed some episodes, I think it had its moments. Now there is one thing she said that literally made me burst out laughing. So, the Rey movie has no update, but she does provide an update for Taika Waititi's movie, the one that keeps getting pushed back for the last 6 years. The one that Taika admitted he wants to use to piss off the Star Wars fandom. Here's what Kathy said. I think if we ever do get a script from Taika, it's going to be fantastic. I already saw a first act that I loved, but tying him down is tricky. I'm sorry, but there is so much to break down in this very small quote. For one thing, I think if we ever do get a script from Taika, is she taking the mickey? If you've been asked to work on a Star Wars project, that should be your primary objective. That should take precedence over everything else, or at the very least be near the top. And the way she says, I think if we ever do get a script, as if Kathy knows Star Wars is an afterthought. I saw this making the rounds and I assumed this was a joke. I assumed this was a parody, but it's not. Not only is Taika's movie still in the works, whenever he decides to actually sit down and write it, Kathy says she's all ears. So on the subject of Kathy stepping down, she says this: we'll probably make an announcement months or a year out, and I have every intention of sticking around to help that person be successful. So she's going to help the new person, show them the ropes, make sure the transition of power is smooth, it's a success. She didn't want to say who it was. The current rumour is Carrie Beck, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. Some people are saying Kevin Feige. I don't think so, but this does seem to confirm conversations are being held. And if you read between the lines, I'd be very surprised if Kathy doesn't already know. Of course she does. This interview is a PR stunt to soften the blow. She also said previous rumours of her retirement are pure hearsay. But on this occasion, in terms of stepping down as president, it is true. The framing on this, I think, is very out of touch with the Star Wars fandom, and it seems like, maybe with a few exceptions, Star Wars isn't going to change. Kathy is going to be in orbit for many years to come. I hope this is the last. I have to talk about this for a long time. I have a lot of cool videos planned. I got to speak with a Star Wars legend yesterday, and I can't wait to share some of the clips of that. So look out for more positive Star Wars updates in the coming days. But yeah, share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you always.